Hi there to our elementary students at FEC and especially to our kindergartners who are taking a look at Australia this week. I hope that you've been able to print out your little Australia books and maybe take a look at some of the activities online. But today we're going to read a story about a koala bear. And a koala bear is another animal that lives in Australia, and this one is called Koala Lou. And the book is by Mem Fox and illustrated by Pamela Lofts. So let's read about Koala. There once was a baby koala so soft and round that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koala Lou. The butterflies loved her. The emu loved her. The platypus loved her. And even tough little koala Claus next door loved her. But it was her mother who loved her the most. 100 times a day she would laugh and shake her head and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Bet your moms say the same thing. Whenever she stretched early in the morning, or climbed a gum tree, or bravely went down the path all by herself, her mother would smile and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." I think we're going to hear that, so maybe when I start saying it, you say it with me. The years passed, and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koala Lou. Soon her mother was so busy, she didn't have time to tell Koala Lou that she loved her. Although, of course she did. Every night, as she curled up under the stars, Koala Lou thought about the times when her mother had looked at her and said, ready, say it with me, "Koala Lou, I do love you," and she longed for her to say it again. One night, Koala Lou had a splendid idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in the gum tree climbing event and she would win. And her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say again, "Koala Lou, I do love you." The owl in the trees heard her plans and wondered if she would win the Olympics. Koala Lou began her training right away. She jumped off the tree and jogged and puffed and lifted weights and panted. She hung from a branch with one claw. And she ached. She did push-ups till her stomach hurt, and last of all she climbed the tallest tree she could find over and over and over again. Sometimes her mother would watch her and ask, "How you doing, Blossom?" "Fine, just fine," Koala Lou would reply. At the last day, the day of the Bush Olympics had arrived. The torch was lit, and everyone was ready to watch the Olympics. Koala Claus had also entered the competition, and he was in the gum tree climbing event, and everyone knew how fast Koala Claus was. But Koala Lou wasn't scared. She saw her mother in the crowd and imagined her saying again, let's say it together, "Koala Lou, I do love you." And her heart filled with hope. It was Koala Claus who went first. As the judges looked on, her climb was a record-breaking 22 meters in 70 seconds flat. The spectators whistled and cheered and wildly waved their party hats. Can I do better than that? Wondered Koalaloo. I must. As she stepped toward the tree, a hush fell over the entire crowd. On your mark, said the Kookaburra. Get set. Go. Koalaloo leapt into the tree. Up and up and up she climbed, higher and higher and higher, faster and faster, until there she was, right at the very top. The spectators roared and clapped and stomped their feet. But she wasn't fast enough. In spite of all her training and all her hoping, it was Koala Claus who won the gum tree climbing. Koalaloo came in second. She went off and hid. She heard the shouts of the Bush Olympics and cried her heart out. When the first stars of evening appeared in the sky, Koalaloo crept home through the dark and up into the gum tree. Her mother was waiting for her, and before she could even say a word, her mother had flung her arms around her and said, what'd she say? Koalaloo, I do love you. I always have, and I always will. And she hugged her for a very, very long time. And that is the story of Koalaloo. And I will see you tomorrow for another story.